Grove Mayor-elect Bobbie Singh-Allen is no stranger to elective office. A longtime school board member in Elk Grove, she has been involved in her city's growth for years. Mayor-elect Singh-Allen joins us today to talk about her campaign, her election, and her vision for the future of Elk Grove. Mayor-elect Singh-Allen, what drove you to run in the first place for mayor?
Oh, wow. Well, our city was suffering, not only because of a global pandemic, but failed leadership. Ultimately, it came down to failed leadership. And in that failed leadership, we had a mayor that was incapable of working with their colleagues and really unable to meet the needs of our city. We are dealing with a global pandemic, and economic recovery is at the heart of some of our community's needs.
When you talk about failed leadership, can you be a bit more specific on exactly where those failures were?
Sure. Well, the mayor did not have a working relationship with the city council members. All 4 city council members actually endorsed me, which I'm very proud of. But in addition to that, just does not have a working relationship with our local and regional partners as well, which, as you know, for a city as our size, you need to be able to have a working relationship not only with your colleagues, but all stakeholders in our community and in our region. And I'm blessed to say that I had all of those support and endorsements for our campaign.
When you decided to run, you had served on the local school board for the Elk Grove Unified School District for a number of years and seemed by all accounts to be very happy there. If there was one issue more than any other that said, let me leave something that I love and step up to a new level, what was it?
You know, Scott, when I began my journey serving on the school board, my son was being bullied in our school district. And the school district did not meet the needs of not only me as a parent, but my son, and then also the bully. And 8 years later, we had a bully at City Hall. And I found that same calling that I needed to step up and meet the needs of our city, but heed that call to public service and hold the bully accountable.
I see. And coming from having served for so long in Elk Grove, what is it about your city that you love most about not only Elk Grove, but about the people that you serve?
Great. Great question. You know, I've lived proudly in this community for almost 30 years. It's where my parents are retired, where my brother also owns a small business. I love the rich diversity of Elk Grove, and I love that we have a thriving city. We have relatively, it's a safe community to raise your kids, but most importantly, it's got one of the best school districts in our state. So we really have it's a rich community with a lot of great amenities. And that's why I've called Elk Grove home for almost 30 years. And it's, you know, we're in that critical moment now with that turning point in our community of truly growing and attracting different jobs, but also answering the call for economic recovery because our businesses are suffering, our working families are suffering. And I get to bring all of my knowledge and my leadership skills and my collaborative spirit to the table and help move our city forward.
Going back to the campaign for a moment, it was one of the most hardly fought campaigns, and there were charges traded back and forth. You had made the charge against the current mayor about bullying activity toward you. And I believe your family. And at the same time, the mayor and his allies claimed that you were engaged in some form of quote unquote racism in terms of your speech. Can you explain to us exactly what all of that was about?
Sure. So first and foremost, I'm not the only woman that stepped forward. There's a number of women, including 2 other elected women, that shared their stories. But we didn't share our stories until it was 2 courageous private citizens that shared their story about bullying and intimidation at the hands of the mayor and his allies. And, you know, long pattern of bad behavior on his part. But we shared our story not only to hold the mayor accountable, but also to validate the pain and suffering of the two private citizens, the two women. I felt compelled to come forward. As you know, I'm a Sikh American, and Sikhs are known to speak up when others are being attacked. And while I was able to address my bullying in my own way, but I didn't really share that story publicly until those two private citizens came forward. That's when I really felt the need to speak up and speak out, because I recognize myself in their stories of things that happened to them, happened to me as well. And that propelled the other women to step forward as well. But to your question, as it relates to racism, which is an absolutely ridiculous charge, my work stands for itself. For the last 8 years as a school board trustee, I'm a champion for the disenfranchised. I'm a champion for our students of color, for immigrants and refugees. I myself, I'm an Asian American immigrant. I was born in India. Unfortunately, the mayor has a pattern of gaslighting the community and was making false statements. And, I feel bad that the Hmong community felt harmed along the way, but I have not said anything harmful to a group of people that I have tremendous amount of respect for. But I can't control the actions of others in either using comments grossly out of context, but we're dealing in a climate nationally, statewide, and in our community on racism. And it's not a word that should ever be used lightly, because it takes away from real harm, real trauma. And I was fortunate that other leaders in our community actually submitted a letter of solidarity, not only in support of me, but denouncing those labels accusing me of racism, because racism did not exist and never will exist with me, because I am all about equity and supporting all communities. It's part of the work that I have done my entire life.
Mayor Singh-Allen, for those members of the Hmong community that are watching us have this conversation right now, what is it that they should know about you?
That Bobbie Singh-Allen cares for all people. I care about your community as much as I care for my community. I know the pain and suffering that you've endured in your homeland and try to make a great living here in this great new country. I have tremendous amount of respect for you, and I've been there for you for the last 8 years, not only with my direct actions as a school board member, but as a strong advocate, as an Asian American immigrant myself. I know what it's like, and I care, and I always have.
Going back to talking about diversity and your own roots, what does it mean to the Sikh American community to see one of their own elected to the mayorship of Elk Grove?
You know, when we started this journey, it was not to make history, but apparently history was made. I'm proud to say that I am the first directly elected woman Sikh mayor in the country. We've had one that was not a directly elected mayor, but I'm the first directly elected mayor that's a woman. So it gives me a tremendous amount of pride. But, Sikh Americans have been in this country and in this state for over 100 years. And the fact that this milestone took over 100 years to achieve, it breaks my heart a little bit, because it says that we really have not been engaged enough in the political process. But more importantly, that women haven't stepped up to lead and run for public office. So while I'm the first, I certainly hope that I'm not the last, and I will definitely be talking to a lot of young women and empowering them, as I have for the last decade or so, really encouraging young women to run for public office, but also to be actively involved in their community.
And elections and campaigns not only take a toll on the candidate, but they take a toll on the family, because most of the time everybody's involved. How did your family deal with this big race and onto a different position in advocating for your city?
It was definitely a family affair. It was all hands on deck. My father was an amazing, voracious fundraiser. He called every friend and family throughout the United States for support. We raised $300,000 in 100 days, which is just unheard of. And my father, I have to say, is one of the leads on that in helping to raise that money. My mother, bless her heart, she's almost 70 years old. She walked 6-7 days a week, twice a day, knocked on doors, dropped door hangers, dropped literature everywhere, all parts of Elk Grove. My children not only developed a website, they also walked and phone banked. My husband walked every day. You're talking 18-hour workdays, sometimes more. As a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, I would always feel guilty that I wasn't not only doing enough as a candidate, but more importantly, just Bobbie as a mom, as a wife. I love cooking. Cooking was out the door. I just didn't have time to do all of that. It takes a toll, not only physically. I remember having daily panic attacks at 3 a.m. when I did get some sleep. Was I doing enough? And not second guessing all our strategy, because our strategy was solid, but just me personally, am I calling enough? And do I need to raise more money? Do we have enough literature out in circulation? What else can we do? Because it's a COVID situation, and we ran a very high profile competitive race under COVID. So we had to exhaust all means necessary and employ political strategies that typically are overlooked and underutilized. So we really did a very strong, robust digital campaign in addition to your standard mailers that go out. So we had a great online presence. We weren't allowed to go door to door and actually talk to voters because of COVID, and wanted to protect the safety of not only my family, but also our volunteers. But we were able to drop literature. We held a telephone town hall. We did the phone banking. So we exhausted other avenues. I also had a Comcast commercials as well. So we utilized a lot of extensive political strategies to get our message out. And under these COVID restrictions, which again made it costlier. So that pressure of constantly raising money in such a short window was sort of the reason why I would have those 3 a.m. panic attacks.
Well, you spoke about COVID in a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And talked about how the community and the businesses are hurting. Give us a sense of how COVID has affected Elk Grove and what you and your colleagues intend to do about it.
Right. For our small businesses, they're suffering. We are now under the purple tier, which means restaurants like my brother's can't have, they're not allowed to have indoor operations. And a lot of our community is made up of small business owners and restaurants particularly, who are at the risk of closing their doors permanently. And so I take this very seriously, not only because it impacts my brother, but it impacts a vast majority of our community that are truly, truly suffering. So, and our working families, a lot of folks that have lost their jobs, can't pay rent, don't have enough food on the table. As a past board member for the Elk Grove Food Bank, they have over 900 new clients every month since COVID started in March. These are scary numbers. These are our friends and neighbors who may not have been in dire need historically, but now because of the challenges with COVID, they're suffering. So as elected leaders, we have a responsibility to take care of our community. And one of the things that I want to lead on is develop an economic recovery task force. And I will present that concept next week at my first city council meeting to get the support from my colleagues and have leaders in their respective fields that will be, it's just an ad hoc committee, but they will be there to provide advice and strategies and resources that our families and businesses can use. So it would be a mix of business leaders, nonprofit leaders, and labor leaders, and to really provide that much needed guidance and expertise that one can't rely on as an elected official or as even city staff. These are experts in their field. And I've seen the great work other cities have utilized through these task force. and coming up with great strategies and solutions. This is really about providing meaningful and tangible solutions, not only for working families, but businesses as well.
Well, talking about solutions, I'd like to know your view on how the state and county have implemented these phased pauses with regards to restaurants as opposed to grocery stores, or hair salons as opposed to churches. As recently as within the past few days, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled against New York in terms of how it is that they've closed down churches. Do you think that the phased closures and reopenings have been well done? And what, if you were giving advice to the county and to the governor, what specific changes would you be requesting of them in order to deal with the hurt and pain you just expressed on the part of small business owners?
Sure. The pain and suffering is vast, as we all know. We were the first school district in the, I know in the state, but perhaps even in the country, that closed. And
you were criticized for that as well.
And we were criticized for that, but we saved lives. And we were a catalyst for other school districts that just within 24 hours and 48 hours also closed down at the onset of this, because at the time we didn't have all of the information, how fast it was spreading, but we saved lives, not only the lives of our students, but our families and our staff, which is, when you're in an elected position, leadership is hard. My superintendent has always reminded us of that, and it's so true. Leadership is hard because you are entrusted with the lives of so many people. Your action and your inaction can cost lives. So I take that responsibility very seriously. So learning from that, I know that I can sit here and criticize the governor for some of his phased in implementation, but as a leader, I believe that you must lead by example. So I think that when you make these changes,
but isn't this a governor who
pardon me?
Mayor-elect Singh-Allen, this is a governor who, within the last few weeks, was caught at the French Laundry.
Exactly.
Having a dinner. So is that leading by example?
No, not at all. And there are others who have done the same thing. And I think that goes to the heart of bad decision making that has real impact on real lives. I'm of the mindset, if you bring, the experts together and come up with a thoughtful approach that is scientifically based, that everybody follows. Everybody follows. You have to, wearing a mask should not be a political statement. Wearing a mask saves lives, socially distancing.
But is there one or two changes that you would directly advocate for that have not been taken into account and implemented yet?
Some of the changes, I know that we are set to expire on for our residential and commercial tenants on some of the relief that can be, that they need in real time. We need to see that extended. So I think that would be one of the first, because it's set to expire, I believe, at the end of the month. So we need to see an extension on that so that our working families and our businesses aren't suffering. And so that right now with residential and commercial renters and tenants, we could use that support right now. But also tax relief, we need to see more funding for our small businesses, more grants available for them. So that's not only from the state level, but also from the federal, getting some more CARES Act funding. So I've already advocated that with my Congress member, but we really need to see more money come into the local jurisdiction. So that's some of the fundamental first things, but also to have a strong strategy with our schools. Our schools, our children are suffering. And there is a lot of uneasiness because of COVID on how it spreads within even a school environment. If private schools have figured out how to safely reopen and not only keep children safe, but also their staff safe, there are learning opportunities there. And so I know that there's been a lot of lost learning with our students, and it's going to be very challenging to recover from that. But we have to make these decisions with science and with decision makers at the table. And a lot of this does start at the top. Right now, it's left to jurisdiction. So you have patchwork solutions across the board. We really need guidance that will be more all-encompassing, not only, even from the national level, where a president wears a mask and practices all of those, the social distancing and wearing a mask and keeping our community safe. We can't have mixed messages, because with that, you don't have a community that will either adhere to them or questions them or is suspicious of them. We need to make science-based decisions, but in a way that doesn't harm our businesses. Why grocery stores can be open, but not restaurants. Restaurants are also essential businesses for the most part. They're providing food services for a number of people who may not choose to cook or can't cook or need access to some of the food supply. So I know that they're allowed to have things to go, but that's just not enough. So what incentives can we do to keep them open safely?
And in our final moments, I wanted to ask you about your vision for the future of Elk Grove. If you, at the end of your tenure, whenever that might be, were looking back, are there a couple of initiatives that you're thinking of right now that if you could accomplish them, you'd say that was time well spent?
Absolutely. I would like to see high-paying jobs come to our city. We are a city, for the most part, that commutes. We are a bedroom community. We have jobs growth, but it's not the high-paying jobs that keep people here in our community. With that, it also ends up addressing our traffic congestion problems, which we experience year in and year out. The significant traffic congestion is one of the top things that the constituents have reported back. So if we can bring light rail to the city of Elk Grove to relieve some of that congestion, that will go a long way towards meeting those goals. But that JPA connector that will connect ultimately Elk Grove to Highway 50, that will alleviate not only significant traffic congestion, but really connect us to the region and be an economic driver as well. So my goal is to see some of those visions come true and have an entertainment hub, if you will, we have a proposed casino project that you're aware of. If we can build around that and have a robust area that's an entertainment hub, that families can go and spend their money and their dollars here in Elk Grove, as opposed to leaving our city and taking that money elsewhere. That's how we will ultimately thrive as a city, and not just be a commuter city and a bedroom community, but where we can spend our dollars right here in Elk Grove.
And give us, finally, your elevator pitch. If there's so many people moving from the Bay Area, the Silicon Valley, and all places north and south that are considering moving to this region, give us your 30-second elevator pitch as to why Elk Grove.
No pressure there. Elk Grove is an exceptional community. It is a safe community. It's a community where you can raise your family in one of the top school districts in the country. And it's a community where you can get to know your neighbors, and you'll see the rich diversity that Elk Grove has. And you have a mayor and city council that are dedicated to bringing not only more jobs to this community, but also to really help keep our community safe. And I think these are some of the main reasons why anybody should move to Elk Grove. I've lived here almost 30 years. There's something special about this community. It still has that small town feel, but we are a growing city, but we are growing with community at the heart of that growth.
And I think we'll leave it there. Good luck to you, Mayor-elect Singh-Allen.
Yes, Mayor next week.
And look forward to having you back on to talk about progress.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
And that's our show. Thanks to our guests, and thanks to you for watching Studio Sacramento. I'm Scott Syphax. See you next time right here on KVIE.
All episodes of Studio Sacramento, along with other KVIE programs, are available to watch online at kvie.org/video.